everyone, my name is Kieran. Welcome to the PSG versus Manchester United match preview, and I'm very excited for this one, even if there's not a whole lot to play for on the Manchester United side of things, especially with how big a mountain it is to climb for us to get into the quarterfinals of the Champions League, something incidentally we haven't done for 8 years. But as Ole Gunnar Solskjaer said leading up to this game, mountains are there to be climbed. So in this preview, we're going to be seeing if there's any possibility that Manchester United can go through to the quarterfinals, predicting our lineup and also our score prediction, as well as taking your thoughts and opinions and questions going in to this big clash in Paris. But before we get into that, make sure you leave a like on this video and subscribe to the channel if you are new. We're trying to hit 600 subscribers by the end of March, so if you want to help us out with that, make sure you leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new. Just want to welcome to everyone who has joined us, really do appreciate it. And of course, as I said, as we go through, don't be afraid to let your voice be heard in the live chat. And I can see Rodney's joined us. Welcome, Rodney. Thanks for joining. And by the way, guys, before we get into this, make sure you check out Rodney's channel in the link in the description down below as well. Really good stuff. I would definitely recommend it. So, firstly, we're going to talk about PSG now. Of course, last time out, in the second half especially, I thought in the first half actually we were able to keep with PSG, keep with the pace they set, and actually in the first half we looked like the home team. In the second half we looked like the away team. PSG, showed their dominance, and Angel Di Maria unfortunately had the last laugh really, and he of course got 2 assists and was instrumental in the way they played, and of course as well Kylian Mbappe caused us a lot of problems, and I think definitely going into the game, in fact tonight probably, or even tomorrow night, the defenders, the fullbacks are going to be having nightmares about the pace of that man, or that boy, Kylian Mbappe, because he is rapid. Absolutely rapid, and actually he's one of the most clinical finishers when he gets the ball, and to have those sort of 2 things combined at such a young age shows a lot of promise, indeed. So I'll tell you what, especially with the injuries you've got, I think PSG are definitely the favourites going into this. I think they've got a very good record in Paris this season. I don't think they've lost a game in Paris this season as well. So all bodes well for us to get a 3-0 win over there. But of course I say that in jest. But I think unfortunately for us it's going to be a case of trying to keep it respectable. Ultimately, we've got so many injuries. Of course in midfield, no Paul Pogba either. So it's going to be difficult for us. And PSG of course have got Edison Cavani coming back for the tie, so they'll have their front 3 pretty much back. Neymar not being in the team almost helped PSG a bit. So of course Di Maria will probably be playing in the Neymar position, and obviously Mbappe, and then you've got Cavani. That front 3 is going to cause us a lot of problems, and then the players in behind are not too shabby either. So again, I think unfortunately it's going to be a case of trying to keep it respectable. But you never know, they could show up on the day, and if we do turn this around, don't forget about giving Ole the job. He should be given a statue outside Old Trafford. Rodney says it'll be interesting to see how both teams set up. I think it will be very interesting, considering how many injuries we've got, and also in the PSG side of things, because potentially they might think the tie's over. The fact that they've got 2 away goals, Man United coming to their home with a lot of injuries, they might chop and change, who knows. But I do see them having a full strength squad, just making sure the job is done, and I think for them it's going to be a I think it's going to be more of just, just making sure they don't concede. I mean, they've done the hard work in Manchester. They got the 2 goals. They can sit back. They know we need to score 3 clear goals if we've got any chance of going through. And I don't see that happening personally. Obviously, Lukaku's on such a great run of form. If he could bag 2 again, that would be a miracle. But, I don't see that happening, unfortunately. But we can give it a good go, and I think as long as we give it a good go, as long as we're we're not seen as just giving up and letting them play, hopefully we go there and we play with a bit of pride. And of course there's a few fringe players who will be able to do it on the biggest stage of all, the biggest club stage of all anyway, because we've seen the likes of Fred and Pereira play in club football against the likes of obviously Southampton, and they did quite well on the weekend. But it doesn't get any bigger than the Champions League knockout round. So if they can prove to Solskjaer that they've got worth playing in the Champions League knockout rounds, it shows a lot to the manager. It will show a lot, so they'll have motivation for this game. Unfortunately, I don't see us getting over the line with a win or getting through, but you never know. I mean, I just think, I think it's either going to be a draw or I think we are going to get beaten again. I don't see it personally, but I don't like being negative, of course. I don't like being negative going into these sort of games, but it'll definitely be good practice and good experience for the younger players in the team. Welcome to Josh. Welcome, Josh. Thanks for joining, mate. Really appreciate it. As I said, guys, make sure you leave your thoughts in the live chat or any comments. Really want to hear what you guys have to say. Welcome, TTX Productions. He says, hey, guys, let's be realistic. 2-0 down. It's hard to get through, especially with Pogba out and with all the injuries. I think yeah, it's right. I think in terms of being realistic, TTX, I think you're spot on. I think it's very, very difficult to see us, you know, even getting a goal, you know, let alone winning the game in Paris. But as I said, it's going to be more of almost a training exercise for the Man United team. You know, we're going up against the best in Europe, and this is a sort of level that we want to be at. And the only way that you can get to that level is experience playing against these sort of big teams. And, you know, we need to experience that if we are going to get back there. And, you know, obviously it's better than playing Europa League, but unfortunately I don't see us getting a goal. As Rodney says there, do you see United scoring? I think potentially we could get one goal, but I don't see us getting 2 or 3. I mean, I could be wrong, and I would be very, very happy, in fact, ecstatic if I was wrong, but I don't see us getting a goal, no. I mean, no, I see us getting potentially 1 goal, sorry. I think potentially like a counter-attack or, you know, a header or something. That's the only way I see us scoring, because whilst PSG have a brilliant attacking force, defensively they've shown they were very, very compact. At Old Trafford, we didn't really create too many chances near their goal. So, again, it's not just the attack we have to worry about, but defensively, they're very, very solid. So, it is going to be difficult for us to get anywhere near their goal. But if we do score, I think we'll only score 1, unfortunately. And we will have to score 3 clear goals, by the way, guys. Just to remind you, 3 clear goals we have to win by if we are going to go through to the quarterfinals of the Champions League. Something we haven't done since 2011, where we went on and got to the final. Lost to Barcelona, who again outclassed us on the day. But of course, we'll just forget about that. Josh, Ollie's at the wheel. Well, he is. Of course he is. Of course he is. And I tell you what, he is manoeuvring this vehicle to, I mean, I think top 4 this season. I think we are going to get top 4 this season. I'm hopeful. And obviously, you know, there's so much positivity. And I think this game against PSG, you know, is also a very interesting one in terms of whether he should get the job or not. Because obviously this game is not, I mean, there's still stuff to play for. But in reality, there's not a whole lot of realistic, you know, there's not... I don't want to rule it out completely, but I think realistically, there's not that much on the table for us. So it's going to be very interesting to see how he sets up the team, what sort of attitude the team has, and whether they play with pride. So I'm interested to see how that goes. Welcome, Ricky. Thanks for joining, Ricky, as always, mate. Really appreciate it. He says, not to dwell on Mourinho era, but isn't it hilarious how Mourinho keeps shooting himself in the foot during his interviews? Well, of course, it was always going to happen, you know, when you become a pundit, you know, you get launched back into the public eye after such a high-profile job like Manchester United. Of course, all of your clips are going to go viral. You know, everyone's going to be, you know, hanging on every single word that you say. And I think Mourinho, of course, is someone who divides opinion. And yeah, I think, you know, some of the comments he makes, you know, I think he knows what he's doing in some circumstances. But, you know, he's got an opinion, and we may as well let him speak it. And, you know, that's fair enough. That's what a pundit's job is. And that's what he is at the moment. I do think he is probably going to go back to Real Madrid. He was very, very coy when asked a question about, you know, going back to Real Madrid and stuff. So, who knows? Who knows? But don't you worry. Jose Mourinho will be back in a management job very, very soon. Don't you worry about that. TTX says, hopefully we'll see some youth. Interesting to see how this game plans out. Yep, I totally agree, mate. And I tell you what, the youth, seeing Tahith Chong playing away from home against PSG would definitely fill me with warmth. It would be a brilliant moment for a youth product. And, you know, what's the worst he could do? You know what I mean? What is the worst he could do? I just want to welcome Rashford Jawara. Thanks for joining, Rashford. Really appreciate it. If you haven't already, make sure you leave a like. That'd be absolutely fantastic. I really would appreciate that. He says, I will call this mission impossible to the end of 90 minutes. Kieran, no confident about this. My daydream reality might happen. Worry about the absences of key players. Well, of course, the injuries are going to play a huge factor, but even if we had a fully strength team, I don't think we'd be able to beat PSG 3-0 in their own backyard. I think that would be one of the most ridiculous comebacks in the last 10 years if we were able to do that. So yeah, Ricky says it's a big chance for McTominay, Pereira and Fred to show what they're capable of. Definitely, and as I said before, these sort of fringe players, if they can show a bit of heart and they can put really show up in a game of this magnitude, in the Champions League knockout rounds, that will show a lot to the manager, because it's all right doing it at home to Southampton, where, let's be honest, we're expected to win those games. But if you can step up and prove yourself in games where we're not expected to win, we're kind of the underdogs, and we have to play a bit differently, then that shows a lot to the manager, in my opinion. Rodney says he still loves Jose. Yeah, I know you do, mate. I know you do. And to be fair, there's a part of me which definitely still feels a bit of love for Jose Mourinho. I wasn't one of those Jose Mourinho out fans who, and as you guys know on the channel, because I was getting comments about it saying, oh, how can you still be Jose Mourinho in so late on in his time at Manchester United? But I did feel sorry for him, as he was in the car, waving goodbye to the journalists. I did feel sorry for him, and also when he was getting filmed by almost the paparazzi outside his house. I mean, he was just back from a trip to Harrods, so how much can you really feel sorry for him? But I'm just saying, I did feel a bit sorry for him where he got sacked, and I do wish him well. I do wish him well. Josh says Ashley Young is shit, not quality for the BPL and Champions League. I think Ashley Young, to be fair to him this season, has put in some decent performances, but I don't think he has too much longer left. But I tell you what, if Jack was in the stream right now, he would heavily debate that with you. Jack Wall, of course, if you don't know, is the main pioneer of one of the greatest movements of the 21st century, Ashley Young FC. So yeah. Football Crucio says, welcome to the stream, by the way, mate. Thanks for joining. It says, I won't be watching the match. I cannot see us going through, especially with the injuries we have, but who knows? Well, it's the Champions League. Who knows indeed? But yeah, I do see a point, especially with the injuries we've got. We're missing quite a few key players, and especially going away from home. Doing a job away from home against PSG, who, let's be honest, have been there and done it. It's going to be difficult. Winning by 3 clear goals, I don't see it personally. I really don't see it. But, we go into this game with very, very low expectations, so we can't get disappointed. So look on the bright side of life. Ricky says, I wanted Mourinho to leave 100%, but it wasn't all his fault. And I think that's definitely a very philosophical comment from you, Ricky. I think actually, you're right about that. It wasn't 100% his fault. I think some of the players did down tools and they weren't playing to the best standard. And now they're obviously blossoming, which is brilliant to see, of course, from a Manchester United point of view. But I didn't think it was 100% his fault, to be honest. Welcome to Matthew Jones. Thanks for joining. Really appreciate it. This game doesn't mean much. Priority is top 4 in the FA Cup. Well, of course, and I think actually the Arsenal game at the weekend probably means a bit more than this game, to be honest with you. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to this game. Obviously it doesn't mean that much in terms of how we think we can get the result, but the fact that we can take, we don't have as much pressure on us means we can enjoy the game a bit more, and we can analyse the performances a bit more, and just be a bit more relaxed about it. So yeah, but yeah, I'm still hopeful that we can, at least put in a decent performance, a performance that shows a lot of pride, and all I'm hoping for, all I'm asking for, is to not get embarrassed. If we lose 2-1, I won't mind that at all. If we put up a fight and don't get embarrassed, I'll be happy with that. I'll be content. Rasmus says they will want to score early and get the game done. Let's stop and remember that last time Barca was losing 4-0, come back to 6, not the same perspective but the same confidence. Well, I see what you mean, and I think Barcelona is a whole different kettle of fish. They're on a whole different level to us right now. But I see what you mean. Obviously, comebacks have happened. Of course, Roma won 3-0. Obviously, that was at home, but they won 3-0 against Barcelona last season in one of the most craziest games I've seen. But I mean, they had a full-strength squad. Barcelona also had a full-strength squad for that PSG game. When you have injuries, it just stunts the kind of progression, and just the way I don't see it. Unfortunately, guys, I really don't see it. I feel like I'm being a bit negative, but unfortunately, I don't see us getting the win in this one. But as I said, as long as we get a performance with a bit of pride and we put in effort and we don't get embarrassed, I'll be content with that. Josh said, I think proven BPL talent such as Matt Doherty and Wan-Bissaka is needed to push for a potential title in the next few years alongside a top centre-half. I think we could challenge City then. 100%, I think definitely the way we're playing is really, really encouraging, but we will need some financial backing in the summer. And I think Wan-Bissaka, a player you mentioned there, is a very, very, promising young player, someone who's been doing it for a few seasons now in the Premier League for Crystal Palace, and I would love him to be a fullback, to potentially replace Ashley Young. Obviously we've got Diogo Dalot, and he seems to be coming into his own at the moment as well, so I'm really, really happy with the progression of our fullbacks, but Wan-Bissaka I think would definitely be a step up and someone who'd be brilliant to bring in. Of course, if you guys have got any other suggestions on who we should bring in, let me know in the live chat and also in the comment section down below. Ricky says, I think if we beat Wolves, it'll be United versus City in the FA Cup final. Yeah, I do see that, definitely. And hopefully, if we were to, win the FA Cup, I think that'd be a brilliant achievement for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, especially in his first season, with only having about 6 months in charge to win an FA Cup. He would win more trophies than Jurgen Klopp, for goodness sake. But there you go. Well, thank you, Matthew Jones, appreciate it. Please do drop a like if you haven't already. That'd be absolutely fantastic. Also welcome Matthew Coyle. Thanks for coming in. He says Pereira hat-trick incoming. I don't see it personally. I don't see it, but you know what? We can all dream. We can all dream, can't we? We can all dream. TTX says Mourinho is done as a manager in modern day football. Don't think any club wants to play his style unless he adopts to modern football. Well, I mean, I don't know about that. I feel like Mourinho's definitely going to get another job in modern football. I think that's probably going to be at Real Madrid. And I mean, I don't know. We'll see what happens. But I think his time as a top-class manager, he's probably got about 5 years left still in him. But I think he definitely doesn't have the same impact as he used to. Doesn't have the same reputation as he used to. But he'll definitely go down as one of the best managers of all time. There's no doubt about that in my mind. Rashford Jawara says, no need to focus on us losing a few early chances. It's important to take our chances. Well, I think that's 100% right, Rashford, 100%. If we don't take our chances, there is no way we're winning the game. And in these sort of games away from home, as we've done in the past, this season against Chelsea, against Spurs, against Arsenal, we've taken our chances early, and that's completely changed the complexion of the game in our favour. If you take the early chances that you get, it makes the game so much easier because it takes the pressure off you early. If you get that early goal and you get into a rhythm, you can really hurt teams. So if that does happen, that is the best scenario. If we can get a goal early and start well, I think that'll be brilliant. I don't see it happening, but as you said, you can hope. You can always hope. Ricky says, Jurgen Klopp, a banter manager. Yeah, I know. I mean, I'll tell you what. The fact he's blaming the wind, I mean, Jesus, I mean, do you know what you signed up for? It's the British weather, for God's sake. I mean, you're in the northwest. What else do you expect? What else do you expect from the British weather, Jurgen Klopp? I don't know, I mean, I'm sorry, but it's ridiculous how he blames the wind. The wind's blowing left and right. Jesus. I mean, imagine that. It's like, oh yeah, Liverpool came second in the league, but we'll give them the benefit of the doubt because the weather didn't suit them. What a load of rubbish. Absolute load of rubbish. Ricky says he's definitely taking advice from Mourinho. Yeah, of course. With the excuses, obviously. But yeah, I think Jurgen Klopp, yeah, Liverpool, have done alright to be where they are, but they're bottling it slightly. To have a 7-point lead at Christmas, I think actually a 10-point lead at Christmas, or around that sort of time, to now be 1 point behind Manchester City. Wow, I'd be fuming if I was a Liverpool fan. But you know what? I'm not. And I thank my lucky stars every day that I'm not a Liverpool fan. But there you go. But guys, I'm going to get into my predicted lineup for the game. If you guys want to let me know your predicted lineups, make sure you let me know in the live chat. And of course, the comment section down below as well, if you haven't already. So my predicted lineup for the game, I'm going to put De Gea in goal. I think even though it's a game we don't have too much to play for, I still think he's going to go with De Gea over Sergio Romero. Back four, I think we're going to see a very similar one to what we saw against Southampton. I think we're going to go with Luke Shaw at left back. I think we're going to see Smalling and Lindelof, and then we're going to see Ashley Young at right back. I think then, obviously because Paul Pogba isn't in the side, the team changes quite a lot. So I think we're going to see, I think we are going to see Fred in the midfield alongside we're going to see Fred in the midfield alongside Scott McTominay in the midfield as well. So I think we're going to see Fred and McTominay in that midfield. I think we're going to play a 3 in front of them. Obviously, I think we're going to play Lukaku on the left. I think we're going to play Lukaku on the left. Pereira in the middle, Sanchez on the right, and Marcus Rashford up front. So that is my predicted lineup for the game. You guys can let me know your thoughts on that in the live chat and the comment section down below as well. TTX says, next excuse for Klopp is that the goalposts are too small. Yeah, exactly. Goalposts are too small. You know, the goal line's not the correct width. Anything that will do for those Scousers. Ricky says, teams have figured out Liverpool by the looks of it. I definitely think so. I mean, 7 draws this season for Liverpool. I think actually in their last few games, I think they've got, you know, a decent amount of draws as well. They just can't seem to get it over the line. And we've been saying it for ages. If you just, you know, play a bit of a low block against Liverpool, you know, play a bit of a solid back kind of you know, a bank of 4, a solid bank of 4, and just part of the bus almost, they will not get past you. And their front 3 this season hasn't exactly been great. It hasn't set the world alight like it did last season. And Mo Salah is having an absolute stinker of a season, I'm sorry. But obviously he can stat pad against the smaller teams. But against the bigger sides, he's pants. He's absolutely shocking. And you know what? The sign of a good player for me is someone who can produce in those big games. And I'm afraid Mohamed Salah can't do that. And you know what? There are some people out there who say Mohamed Salah is the best player in the Premier League. And I think that's a load of shite. I'm sorry. I think it's an absolute load of hogwash, I'm afraid. And I think Mo Salah is quite overrated this season. I'm not sure who's the best player in the Premier League at this point, but Mo Salah definitely isn't it for me. So yeah, I'm obviously we don't want Liverpool in the league. They're 1 point off Man City now in 2nd place, and hopefully they continue to fall. But we do have to win our game against Man City as well at Old Trafford. Even if that does hand Liverpool the title, I don't care. We need the points at this point. So yeah, that's my predicted lineup. But as I said, I think even with the injury we've got, I don't see us getting the 3. Like, I don't see us winning this game. I mean, never mind winning it by 3 clear goals. Unfortunately, I think it'd be an absolute dream, an absolute miracle if that happened. But I don't see it, unfortunately. But of course, it's the Champions League. Anything can happen. And if we were to win it, it would be a ridiculous. I mean, it would be a bit of a collapse from PSG, to be honest with you. I think it really would be a collapse. So yeah. I'm looking forward to the game just because there's not too much pressure on it. We love to play in these sort of big European ties. That's sort of the main reason why you want to be a top club. This is the main reason you want to finish in the top 4. This is what we're fighting for right now. These sort of games on Wednesday night is what we're aiming towards. And that there's no point in finishing the top 4 if you're just going to play the group stage and go out. You know, you want to play the biggest, you want to play on the biggest stage against the biggest teams, the biggest names, the best players in world football. This is what being a football fan is all about. So I'm really looking forward to the game, even if we aren't going to get through. But you know, it'll be a very, very exciting and interesting watch. Ricky says our priority should be Arsenal. I think I would agree with that at this moment in time. I think Arsenal should be our priority. You know, especially because Arsenal are like right up our chuff in the league. Only what 1 point behind us. So if we do beat Arsenal, we open up a 4-point gap, and that really does help us in terms of top 4. And also Chelsea with the game in hand over us, it is getting very, very tight in there. So the 3 points is all that matters. And if we were, I mean, in an ideal scenario, we would win every single game for the rest of the season. I'm not sure if that's going to happen, but that's what would happen in an ideal scenario anyway. But guys, I'm not going to be live for too long. Usually I'd be live, of course, for about kind of, you know, 35-40 minutes. But I have got a very busy day tomorrow, so I won't be able to be live for that long today. I've got a bit of preparation to do for tomorrow. So yeah, I'll probably now get into my score predictions. And if you are watching right now, make sure you leave your score predictions in the live chat and in the comment section down below as well. So I'm going to go with a score prediction of a 2-1 loss against PSG. Yep, I'm predicting a loss. I don't like doing it, guys. I really don't like doing it, but I just don't see us winning the game. I really don't see us winning this game. So I'm going to go with a 2-1 loss. I think it's going to be Mbappe and Cavani scoring for PSG. And I think Marcus Rashford might get on the score sheet for Manchester United in a 2-1 loss. And I think as long as we show pride, as long as we show a bit of effort and a bit of determination to, you know, try and win the game at least, I'll be happy with that. And I think as long as everyone, you know, gives a good performance, gives a good account of themselves, and we don't get embarrassed, and I think a 2-1 defeat is not an embarrassing scoreline by any stretch of the imagination. So 2-1 defeat for me is my prediction, unfortunately. I would have loved to have predicted a draw, but again, I just think PSG's attack has got too much for us, in my opinion. So yeah, that is my prediction. 2-1 loss, unfortunately. As I said, guys, I don't like predicting losses, but I just don't see anything else at this moment in time. Even though we are playing some really, really good football, I think the players will have a much more of a more intense focus on the Arsenal game coming up. So I think their minds will be elsewhere. But as I said, it's going to be a very interesting game. It's going to be a very exciting game, and I think, as I said, if we put in a good enough performance, I'll be happy. Ricky's going with a 1-0 win to PSG again. Wouldn't be too bad of a scoreline, really. Rashford says, I do think we're going to put some effort in, but I also think that the ref was going to bottle it. Oh, wow. Oh, yeah, already predicting a bad refereeing performance. Oh, yeah, the ref did bottle in the first leg. I'm sorry. Kimpembe should not be playing for this leg. What a ridiculous... I mean, he sent off Pogba, fair enough, but Kimpembe should not be playing, I'm sorry. But yeah, you're totally right, Rashford, totally right. Welcome, Lennox, thanks for joining, mate, really appreciate it. Make sure you leave a like if you haven't already, and also get in your score prediction for the game as well. I'm eager to hear what you guys have to say, so let me know your score prediction. Lennox asks, do you think Alexis is finished at Manchester United? For me, I think he is finished at Manchester United. I would be very, very surprised if we see Alexis Sanchez at Manchester United next season. And if he is at Manchester United, I'd be very surprised to see him starting. I just think, unfortunately, this season, it just hasn't been his season. He's now out for 8 weeks as well, which is going to stunt his progress as well. So I don't see him starting for Manchester United next year. Yeah, unfortunately, the curse of the number 7 shirt has also struck once again. So maybe we should just keep that shirt clear. Never give anyone a number 7 shirt ever. Just leave it clear. You know, put it up in the museum or something. Because it just seems to be cursing everyone who wears it. So yeah, for my opinion, I do think he's probably finished at Manchester United. I wouldn't be surprised if he went to another kind of big club, like a kind of Juventus or someone like that. I think we will see him in the Champions League next year, but who he's playing for, who knows. Ricky says, if PSG are down to 10 men and Martial and Lingard played 90 minutes, this would be a completely different side. I think you're correct, Ricky. I really do think you're correct. But you know what? That's how the cookie crumbled in the end, and it's really unfortunate. But you know, you can't do much about that, really. So yeah, TTX says, I would say 1-0 United if we are lucky. I mean, if we won away in Paris, I think that'd be a brilliant result for us. A brilliant result for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as well. So yeah, hopefully we do that, TTX. Lennox says, I think Alexis has played his last game. I agree, Lennox. Totally agree. Welcome, Jessica. Thanks for joining, Jessica. Really appreciate it. She says, be confident with the momentum going forward. You just never know. Pogba, blah, blah. He was pointless on the weekend. They can do it without him. I love the positivity. I've got to say, I'm loving the positivity from Jessica there. I mean, for me, I think unfortunately, I don't see it. I really don't see us winning the game. But I think we can put in a really good performance that shows a lot of pride. And we put in the effort. And as long as we don't get embarrassed, I think I'd be content with that. And you do make a good point about Paul Pogba. You know, we did do quite well without Paul Pogba against Southampton. I mean, obviously he did play, but to be fair, he didn't have much of an impact in the game. So I just think with Pogba there, he can create something. But actually, in the first leg against PSG, he was very, very anonymous. So maybe it's a blessing in disguise. Who knows? Who knows? Lennox says, who should be Man United's captain next year? I think Ander Herrera for me. I would definitely put Ander Herrera up as my top candidate. I think a lot of people are talking about Paul Pogba. I don't think it would suit him at all. I think Ander Herrera for me, the effort he puts in for the team, the way he goes about his business is second to none. So I'll give it to Ander Herrera for me. Ricky says, against Southampton, we can win without Pogba, but I'm not so sure about PSG. I mean, again, I agree with you, Ricky, totally. Rashford says, why do we always have referee balls our game in big games? I know, it's annoying, but you know what? The referee's going to make the decisions, and I was going to say it's the same for both teams, but I tell you what, it wasn't the same for both teams in that PSG game. Kimpembe should have been off the pitch, and But you know what? As I said, that's how the cookie crumbles. That's how the wagon rolls. You can't do much about it now. We have to go into this tie and hopefully play. We have to play better than the referee, if you know what I mean. You know, we can't let the referee's decisions get in our way. Lennox goes with a 1-1. I'd be happy with that scoreline. It'd be respectable. He also says we should concentrate on the game of Sunday at the Jesse Lingard Stadium. Yeah, 100%, mate, 100%. That should be our priority. I think the league is our priority. I don't see us getting through in the Champions League. The FA Cup, of course, would be a brilliant trophy to win. But as of right now, the league should be where we should be putting our main focus on. So, yeah, I totally agree with you, Lennox, mate. And, yeah, hopefully Jesse Lingard, you know, can obviously probably will be injured for the game, which is really, really unfortunate. But hopefully, you know, his spirit, you know, can be there, and we'll see Marcus Rashford doing a bit of a moonwalk or something like that. Rashford says Pogba is already missing our key players, and you can see this in the Southampton game. Well, look, we're missing a lot of key players for this game. There's no doubt about it, and yeah. He was definitely, I think he did go missing in the Southampton game. Luckily, you know, we had Romelu Lukaku, so he was on such good form to be able to get us over the line. But, you know, I think that's the problem with Paul Pogba. We see some brilliant performances from him, but he doesn't do it consistently enough for me. And if he is going to be considered as one of the best, if not the best, midfielder in the Premier League, he has to do it week in, week out. So there's still a bit of a way to go for me to fully, you know, think Pogba's one of the best players in the world. Well, hopefully he does improve that side of his game, and hopefully he does become more consistent. And Ricky said, and the ref gave so many yellow cards, and he completely disrupted the game. I think European refs are definitely like that. You know, that European refs, you know, don't stand for as much as Premier League refs. I think Premier League refs let the game go a lot more, sometimes a bit too much, but I'd rather that than someone who just stops the game every 2 minutes and gives a yellow card. You know what I mean? Ricky says, luckily Lukaku found out he's right-footed. Exactly, yeah. Rashford says, hey, you know what, 3-0 United. Confidence brings pride. Let's do this. Love that, Rashford. Love that. The confidence. 3-0 United. I tell you what, if United win 3-0, I will do my next stream topless. I'm not sure if you guys want me to do that. And, I mean, I certainly don't want to do that. But if we were to win 3-0... God, I mean, that's ridiculous. 3-0 would just be the most bonkers comeback I think the Champions League has ever seen. I think he would even beat the PSG one where Barcelona came back from 4-0 down, because Man United, with all the injuries that we've got. But I love the positivity, Rashford. Love the positivity. Jessica says, in interpretation of Jose's comments, why are you people who hate on him talking about him? Yeah, I don't know. Look, I just think, I mean, obviously, as I said earlier in the stream, you know, Jose Mourinho going into a profession now as a football pundit, where all of his comments are going to be scrutinised very heavily, especially after coming out of such a high-profile job in... You know, it's such a high-profile management job. You know, going into an industry where, once again, you become high-profile, all of his comments, every single little soundbite is going to be, you know, scrutinised. And, you know, I think he's used to that. That's something that he signed up for. But, yeah, a lot of the people are still talking about him and, obviously, you know, interpreting his comments and stuff. I don't know what to make of it. He's obviously a very divisive man. He's going to, you know, have his own opinions. And I can't say much more than that. But you know what, guys? I am going to end this stream here. Thank you so much to all of you guys that have been watching. I really do appreciate it. If you are watching this as a video, thank you so much for getting this far. Make sure on your way out you hit that like button. Let's try and get to 10 likes. I'd really, really appreciate it. Also, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Our goal for March is to get to 600 subscribers. So if we could do that, that'd be absolutely ace. But there, guys, I'm going to end it here. PSG game, of course, Wednesday night. Make sure you tune into the review after the game on Wednesday. But I'm looking forward to it. If we do go through, I would be absolutely amazed. But you know what? It's going to be a very interesting game nonetheless. And I hope for the best. Thanks for, by the way, Darryl, thanks for joining, Darryl. Really appreciate it. Don't you worry about that. I really do appreciate you've even clicked on the stream and joined it, Darryl. So thank you very much for joining. Make sure you check out his channel in the description down below if you haven't already as well. But please do leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new. Thank you for watching. And let's hope for the best, guys, shall we? See you guys in the next one.